Hi everyone, Great Power 60 here. Welcome to another Tea With Me Tuesday. For this September, I have been talking about aftercare. This is the last Tuesday of September, and it'll be my last aftercare and what do I do now, etc. So I thought maybe I would cover a few things. Next month will be October. October is the month I have got to really get busy and rearranging, packing things and rearranging for my son and his family to move in with me at the end of the month on Halloween of all nights. But so this is the last aftercare that I think. I hope I've covered a lot of things. I hope I've covered a lot of things that deal with not just me, but with you as well. And the question, a daunting question for a lot of us is, what do I do now? If you've been married for a very long time and you've lost your husband or you've lost your wife or your partner, and you've had a certain pattern of life. You've been doing things a certain way for so long, and then one of you gets sick, and then there's care going on and worries and things like that. So your life sort of started as newlyweds, raising children if you have children, being with your partner, making a life, working towards something, whatever that may be, whether it's a house or travel or something, or just living life every day together and enjoying each other. And then suddenly that person's gone. And you go through grieving. Naturally, you go through all kinds of stages. I'm not going to go through stages of grief. I know I had the anger. I know I had denial. I had guilt, deep sadness, all kinds of things. I went through a lot of, I guess, the normal grieving process. But grieving is really individual, and I think I've mentioned it before. Grieving is very individual. Some of us take years. Some of us never seem to get over that grief. Some of us have busy lives and can only grieve in compact areas. You're working all day, you go home, and then you break down, and you're scared and you're worried, and there's so many things that you go through. And there's a period of time, and everyone takes as long as it takes. Some people it takes a few months, some people takes a year, and some people take forever, And like I mentioned in the other video, as we are healing, when we heal each day as the time passes, we're healing. And I wish I had the proper quote, but basically it is, we are grieving that physical being that was with us. We are missing, the joys, the laughter, the fights, the anger, the ups, the downs, the whatever, but you're missing that person, and they're no longer here. And we're grieving, but as we're healing, we have to realize they're in heaven waiting for us, and we are headed that way. If you believe, I believe, and I love that. I love the fact that as we're healing, it's okay because we're going towards them, and we'll meet them again. But right now we have a journey on this earth. We have a new journey. So the whole daunting question of what do I do now what am I going to do? After all, and I'm talking about after all the legal stuff, all the financial stuff, all of the burial, the funeral, the whatever, all of that, the whatever is all encompassing in that, to settle that person's estate, to settle that person's life, so that you can go on once that is, and there's a grieving during that period too, but once we're there, then there's going to come a point in time, and I'm only going to talk about me because everybody is individual. There's going to come a point in time, and for me, it was this summer with my son's wedding, where they did everything themselves. They'd been planning for a year, paying for the venue, making the decor, planning the ceremony, getting the, whatever they needed to get done to make the wedding. And it was wonderful. And I think that was a big turning point for me. I think that it helped me remember I've got family. And the joy of family, and the joy of my grandchildren, and the joy of my relatives, and my new friends through my son and his friends, and my daughter-in-law and her friends, meeting new people, talking, and coming out of the shell that I was in really helped me. So that, for me, in my life, was a turning point, because then it was a very joyful event. And even though my poor ex-husband coming over to me and taking my hand and saying, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry for your mom's loss. How are you doing? And then me just losing it, which was the first time I really lost it in a long time. But I think it was the whole overwhelming of, I would have loved Mom to have been there. And she is. I mean, she was in her way. And we settled that and talked later and so on and so forth. But I think I just needed that burst. And after the wedding, and after the, taking down the decor, everybody's gone home, we're cleaning up and doing and talking, and my son and I talking about what's next for me, and maybe we should move in together and get a home and a house where we could be a family, and they can care for me. Not that I need care, I'm quite independent, but it's his way of wanting to look after his mom. And so in moving in with them, I'm helping them and they're helping me. So it's kind of a two-way thing. But the what am I going to do next is so totally individual, For most of us who are retired and older and have gone through grief with a loved one, like for me, with Mom. I had Mom for 8 years. We went through the beginnings of her forgetfulness, and then her dementia as it developed and developed to the point where she could no longer, although she was always beaming, although Mom was a very joyful, loving person, it was always there even when she couldn't make a sentence. Sometimes she would tell people they're beautiful. You're so beautiful. Your children are beautiful. She loved kids, So we went through all of those, me taking her out every day to socialize, just to get out of the house and drive around and see things. And that ended when Mom went into care. She was only in care for a month and a half when she passed. There's the guilt, and there's a lot of things that I had to overcome. A lot of things that you deal with when someone passes. And it got to a point where I had to think about, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay in this apartment? I love my crafting. I'm going to continue with my YouTube. I love my YouTube. Many of you have seen Mom through my videos and just loved her to death, and some of the stories she came up with, and just being with me. A lot of that is now gone, but I still have my crafting. I still have my YouTube channel. I still have you to talk to on a Tuesday or whatever day I happen to want to babble on. So the what next for me is the whole going through Mom's things, going through and deciding what's to be donated, what should be thrown away, what I will keep, things like that. And then there's my apartment. I'm going to have my son and his wife move in with the two boys. We have to make a room. My son is really good with arranging things so that they look good and so that they're functioning and productive and so on. So he'll help me with that. But I have to decide what I want to store. So there's going to be that first step for me in what can I do now? The other thing is I don't always have to stay home. I can do car vlogs. I can, find places where I can do crafts and take you on trips. And, I like paper crafting. I like experimenting with things, and that excites me, and it kind of gets me into a better flow. And I think that is my outlet, shall we say, to help me. But when we think of other people, think of that daunting question, what am I going to do now? What is something you love? Find a passion that you love. If you're, I used to teach a night class many years ago at a college, and loved it. And maybe I could, find a community college or something and see if there is some interest in me teaching somewhere or taking a class. Maybe there's something you've always wanted to do, or maybe you do a little bit but you'd like to do more, maybe an art class or, crochet, knitting, I don't know, something that, makes you feel good, something. The other thing, when you say what's next for me, it's you. You are next. You need to take something and do something special for yourself. Something. When Mom passed, after a few months, my hair was really bugging me. I mean, look, it's unruly, but it was really bugging me, and I got it cut into kind of a bob with, a little bit of layers. It was okay, but it starts to grow out, and then of course it ends up being like this again. So, but it felt good to do that one thing for myself. It felt good. Taking care of my nails. I know this, I keep bringing it up, but it's the only thing I have control over aside from when they break. But, I have no control over the wrinkles, the weight, the hair color. Well, I suppose I could color my hair, but it's not me. This is me, and I like to be natural. But maybe you would like to change your hair color. Maybe it's something you've always wanted to try. Think of things that you used to love doing, even if it was with your partner, and maybe you can continue doing it. Maybe you're a golfer, maybe you're a camper, maybe you're, a traveler, or maybe you just have a nice, simple life where you get up in the morning, get dressed, go to work, come home, meals, spend time together, find something that's going to create joy in your life again, because you need it. Regardless of going through sadness, depression, grief, whatever, it's important that you think of something that you would be good at, something that you would really like to do. Volunteer work is always in demand. And it doesn't have to be every single day. It could be, maybe volunteer once a week somewhere. If you love children, maybe, at a daycare center or community center where, maybe you can do something there, or at a nursing home, go in and there's always volunteers doing work for different people. There's food banks. There's all kinds of things that you could do. And you know what? If you're not ready for that kind of thing, and I'm not quite ready for that kind of thing, rearrange your house. Do a little bit of a declutter, rearrange your house, or do a deep cleaning. I remember years ago when I was married, many, many years ago, I found that I did my deepest thinking when I was cleaning. When I was washing walls and washing floors and puttering around, not thinking that what I'm doing, which is cleaning, like washing floors, sometimes on my hands and knees, and it gave me exercise, of course, which I didn't think of, but, it gave me time to think about what the future, what's next, what can I do now? And this is what I used to do, thinking for my children, and at that time for my husband. I'd be cleaning and I'd be thinking, okay, what do we need different? Maybe our meal planning. Maybe we're going to go on a trip. Maybe, these are things I used to do when I was cleaning, is thinking of all of these things, kind of multitasking really, cleaning and planning at the same time. So that might be something. Rearrange some furniture, maybe take down some things that you don't like. Just get rid of things that you've always wanted to get rid of and that you just can't, handle. So, these are things to think about. For me, I had to think about what's next. Should I stay in this apartment? Should I struggle, which is what I'd be doing for a little while until things are, financially back in order, which is going to take me about 6 months or more to get, everything finalized with Mom and with me and with life, and trying to decide things, but not do everything all at once. Take one task at a time. Deal with it, do with it, get rid of it. Deal, do, get rid of, and that's what I was doing. Another thing you could do is make a list. Make a list of things you want to do. I did that. I made a list of things I needed to do, like sorting through Mom's things, decluttering things. I have things that I don't want, that I have to get rid of. I donated a lot to the Diabetic Association. My dad was diabetic, my son-in-law is diabetic, and I just feel that they are a very good charity to donate to. I did a lot of that, and I made a list of things that I want to get rid of, things I want to keep. Now, with moving in with my son, I have to kind of make a list of what am I going to donate and get rid of? Do I really need this now? Or pack it and get it packed and ready for storage for the few months that they are going to be here until we can find a place for us. I don't know how long it could take, because it's November. They're going to be here November, December, January. I don't think we're going to find anything in January, but come February maybe. So that's going to be a few months to deal with a lot of people, and I need to put things away, things that I want to keep forever, knickknacks and sentimental things and things like that. I will pack in some boxes so that it's either not going to get damaged or get lost or thrown out for one reason or another. So I made lists. I made lists of things that I need to do, and what I need to tackle first, kind of a priority list, I guess. What needs to be done now? What can wait? And, what's urgent, and what isn't. So that's what I have been doing for the past 2 months, is thinking about these things, and in doing that, it brings me healing. It heals me, and I talk to Mom. I say, "What do you think, Mom? Should this go?" And it sounds crazy, but I can almost hear her say, "Oh my God, get rid of it." Mom was a very clean, tidy, wash the dishes, keep everything counter clean kind of person. She'd been looking after people for years, and that is her nature. I'm a little bit more laid back. I think a lot more like my dad. And dishes in the sink, oh well, For a while before Mom passed, I was like that too. I couldn't stand having dishes in the sink. Everything was washed, counters were clean, everything went before I went to bed. I had all of these, I'd, kind of wipe down the sink in the bathroom and the toilet and everything, just so that I didn't have a huge job to do eventually. Since Mom passed, I haven't done a darn thing. I do put my dishes in the dishwasher, and I do leave them in the sink sometimes, and it does annoy me. And then I hear my mom, and so I go and I'll clean it all up and things like that. But it's the day-to-day stuff that we deal with, and we do our best to deal with things on a one day at a time basis. So those are just some of my thoughts, and of course my life, of what's going on. So that is going to be it for talking about. I may come up with something later on in the aftercare kind of series of Tea With Me Tuesdays, when there's something to share. The what next scenario will probably pop up once in a while. But I think for the month of September, we've covered quite a bit. I've shared my life quite a bit, and feelings and thoughts. And I hope that you got something out of it. It's important that we open up and share and talk about things. It's important not to hide away in the closet and not express ourselves, and not hide from life, because as I said before, as we're healing, we're working towards them. They're waiting for us. And in our life, as we are in our golden years, going on, every day we're getting a little closer to them. And I like to think of it that way, that they're waiting for us and hopefully guiding us. And sometimes if we listen, we could get little tidbits of maybe you shouldn't do that, or you can do it, go for it. Those little voices sometimes coming out are angels telling us we're okay. We're going to be okay. We're all going to be together soon. So live your life, enjoy yourself, do what you love to do, and take your time, because it's okay. Take your time. It's okay for me to take my time. It's okay for me to have a good cry once in a while. It's okay for me not to sleep all night long and trying to veg out by watching movies through the night and finally falling asleep at 5 o'clock in the morning, just to not deal with some issues that I should be dealing with and don't want to deal with. Things that are happening that are just driving me nuts, like my car breaking down again. Has to go in again to find out what the heck is going on. I just finished spending $1,000 on getting my brakes fixed. Why are they squeaking again? These kind of things prey on me. So I'll start watching movies and just enjoy the movie. Enjoy, some of them are comedy, romance, some of them are sci-fi, some of them are action movies. I have a wide variety of. I love Iron Man. I love Logan, Wolverine. I love, Christian movies, and I love all kinds of movies. Something that will give me a chance to just forget about all of the hurt and pain and guilt and whatever, and just enjoy. Unfortunately, it goes right, one after the other, and 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to bed and I'm sleeping until 1 and 2 in the afternoon. I'm still getting good sleep, but, my days are kind of all mixed up. And that's okay, because sometimes I'm busy in my craft room until 11 o'clock at night. I'm videotaping, I'm doing crafts, I'm experimenting, I'm having fun. And then it's time to close down because I'm getting tired. And then I come in here and I say, okay, let's escape into a movie, into something. And I may watch the same movie 5 or 6 times, simply because the sound of it, or the feelings that I get from it, are releasing any tensions and so on that I have. And then I'll go to sleep, and sleep 5, 6, 10, maybe not 10, but 8 hours sleep. Wake up and do some cleaning. Ooh. Sorry about that. That is my son saying hello to me, and probably wanting to be picked up from work. Yep, he's almost done work, and yeah, it's getting late. So I want to thank you for joining me for the whole month of September as I talk about what's next after care, after you've cared for someone for so long. What's next for you? And I've shared some of my plans. Things may change. I don't know, but I hope that you've enjoyed this, and perhaps October will bring you a little closer into my life of the chaos we're going to be living for a few months with my 2 grandsons and my son and my daughter-in-law. And how are we going to deal with everything in the apartment, and what am I going to do with my crafts? So that's going to be something fun to talk about, and how I deal with that too. My craft room, I'm losing it. I'm losing it for my grandson so he can sleep, but I have to go through my crafts and figure out what to do. So we'll talk about that in October. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being kind and coming back and sharing my thoughts and listening to me go on about different things. And I hope it helps you. I hope it makes you think. I hope it makes you feel that you're not alone, because we're never alone. There's always someone going through the same thing we're going through. So I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.